This week's benefit breakdown, I wanted to give you some helpful tips on how to make the best decisions when you're faced with your own open enrollment medical plan selections. So, every year, each business goes through open enrollment, and you're going to be presented with a multitude of plan options. Obviously, the medical insurance is typically the most important decision that you can make. And let's face it, medical insurance is extremely confusing by design. So it can be very difficult to make those decisions. So I wanted to offer just a little bit of advice on how I look at plans and compare them. And hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier for you to compare the plans as well. So when you get that open enrollment packet or the initial communication, here's some things that I like to call like the initial considerations. One, is it a new insurance company? So obviously, if it's the same company that you've had, that's great. You're already accustomed to how they kind of do things. But if it's new, a new company, now you have to do a little bit more due diligence. So understanding, do all of the plans that are being offered to you use the same list of doctors and hospitals? Do they cover medications differently? Do copays start on or before the deductible or after the deductible? And what I think is the most important consideration is taking a look at what you have spent on the current deductible and out of pocket maximum. And the way that you can access that information is through your most recent EOB. I think it's always really, really important to understand like, hey, how did I use my insurance this past year? Did I meet my deductible? Did I even come close to it? Did I get close to my out of pocket maximum? All these things help you frame out how to make the best decision based on your utilization. So I want to share just three plan designs with you. This could be in a typical employer setting. So here we have plan one, plan two, and plan three. So what I am initially looking at are the day-to-day benefits. So a lot of people like to focus on the deductibles and stuff like that. I start with the day-to-day benefits, which would be the office visits, so specialist copay and primary care copay. And you can see that they range from $25 to $80. So in my opinion, not a huge difference between plan one, two, or three. And then I also look at the prescription drug copays, which you'll see are 310, 45, and 75, or 310, 50, and 80. So again, when I'm looking at this, the day-to-day stuff to me is one and the same. So that puts all three of the plans on a level playing field. So from that point forward, all it is to me is math, right? So if all of my day-to-day stuff is going to be covered essentially the same within, 5, 10, $15, then now it's really just a math equation, which plan makes the most sense for me. So to work on that math, what I do is I take the cost per paycheck and we annualize it. So here I'm taking the annual cost of plan one, the annual cost of plan two, and the annual cost of plan three. And of course, one is the most expensive because it has the lowest deductible, and three is the least expensive because it has the highest deductible. So the next layer is going to be adding in that deductible because there's a possibility that you might meet that deductible. So using plan one takes your annual cost from $2,300 to $3,800. Plan two takes your annual cost from $1,500 to $4,300, and plan three takes your annual cost from $1,000 to $6,000. So that's one piece of the equation, right? What's my initial cost out of my own paycheck on an annual basis? What would the extra cost be if I actually had to meet that deductible? But the way to get your total cost is to go ahead and factor in what the out of pocket maximum is on each of those plans. So again, here, all I'm doing is taking the annual cost, what it costs you per paycheck, and then adding in the out of pocket maximum. So plan one would be 7,800. Plan two is 8,300 and plan three is 8,800. So if I'm in your shoes trying to make a decision here, at this point, I'm not going to really overly stress about which plan to choose because my worst case scenario, which is how I look at these plans from the out of pocket maximum. And by that, I mean, if you had $1,000,000 in claims, you're just going to pay the out of pocket maximum and then you're done. $100,000 in claims, you're paying the out of pocket and you're done. So even if I pick the best plan or I pick the worst plan, however way you want to look at it, it's only $1,000 difference. So keeping in mind that we might be talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in claims, to only have $1,000 difference no matter what plan you choose, in my opinion, I don't think you can make a wrong decision. So again, that's how I look through the plans. I just break it down to math. In this case, depending on my risk tolerance, I would either choose maybe the richer plan because I think I'm going to use it more frequently, or if I'm not expecting to use it at all, I'm probably going to go with the lowest cost plan so that I can keep as much money in my own paycheck. That's all I wanted to cover today. I'm going to be sharing a couple other plan comparisons, hopefully over the next week or two, again, in an effort just to help you whenever you're trying to make your decisions when it comes to your open enrollment. I hope you learned something new. If there's anything that we can do to help you with your open enrollment decisions, even if you just want some advice, hey, Matt, what plan should we go with? Or if you want some higher level advice, like, hey, our employer really needs to implement some better strategies, we're here for either of those options. Feel free to reach out by dropping me a comment or sending me a message. Thanks and have a great day.